Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy. I'm working on finding the right opening theme song and the outro to my channel. But in the meantime, you have to hear my nasally voice and my mouth breathing from having stuffed up sinuses. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I just recently got hearing aids, and now I can hear myself breathing and, shit like that. But in the meantime, let's go to Colt Outlaw. I got this dirt cheap because it's real ratty. The cover's about to come off, but Iron Mask is back. He's like a, Wild West version of Doctor Doom, but not quite that cool or clever. I had heard of this Iron Mask character, and there's some others. Oh, and his Circus of Crime. There was a Circus of Crime a few years prior to this when Ditko was on Spider-Man. And so let's get to it. How about those? Don't you love those gray colors? It makes everything pop out. See what I mean? The cover's about to come off. Well, it's edited by Stan, of course, but it's plotted by Steve Skeets and Roy Thomas. Steve Skeets is an interesting guy. I see his name pop up and down everywhere. Like I saw him. What did he do? He wrote some stuff for the Marvel. I think he did Aquaman. I'm not sure, with the Jim Aparo era, and also he did. I think he did a really cool story that was in Bizarre Adventures, the black and white magazine about violence. This one particular issue was focusing on that. And this is illustrated by Jack Keller. What's kind of odd is he is a really good artist, but I think because the superhero stuff was really taken off, I think maybe he was nudged to try and do bigger panels, with a little more, over-the-top drama. So this is the Fat Man and his Boomerang. This is the Master of Magnetism. We just got a big old magnet. And this is Bennington Brown. So, not a Brown Betty, but Bennington Brown. These two try and grab him, but I was there the whole time. That hypnotism stuff was also silly. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people just use this as cop-out. But this is an old comic, so I kind of forgive them there. But here comes Iron Mask, and not to be confused with the man with the Iron Mask. So Kid Colt, who is an outlaw for something, a crime he didn't commit, shows up at this town. Thankfully, so far, nobody has recognized him. So this is a circus. So, and for me, Jack Keller, he's a great Western artist, but this is almost like he was forced to do some superhero stuff. And the thing is, DC, they were the gold standard for Westerns and for Army combat comics, that kind of stuff, military comics. They just had the top creme de la creme. So I mean, this kind of stuff I think the stories meant less and less to Stan. It kind of had a benign negligence to it. Because this just isn't really Keller's style. So, like the bad guy would dress up as a doofy clown. Isn't it like beneath him? Yay! And what's real funny is in West Coast Avengers, in the first, there was a story called Lost in Space Time where the West Coast Avengers ended up going backward into the past and ended up in the Wild West era. And Steve Englehart and Al Milgrom brought these goofy characters back, and they weren't much of a threat. But I just thought that was pretty funny because most of us comic book folk, we're still fanboys. And here we go. Firestorm versus Blue Devil. Blue Devil's kind of overdue for a collection, I think. I don't know how many issues came out. I don't even think it was 30 issues, but I got this because I love Firestorm, and I know his costume was super corny with the pirate shirt and all that. But the flames, I love it. It's so audacious. If you did it in a movie, it would look really stupid. But on comics, it works great. And Blue Devil's great too. And this was the book that dared to be fun. Bringing fun back into comics is what the tagline was. And this is, what is this? 86. Okay, yeah, 85 is when Blue Devil came out. And Paris Cullins designed him. And that's Gary Martin on the inks. And Dan Mishkin created Blue Devil. He was a stunt man who was dressing up as an extra for this some movie where he was a bad guy, and somehow some mystic Flumadiddy came and made him the actual demon shape. It didn't change him mentally, but it just stuck him with this armor. So get that out of the way. Now I got this initially because of Firestorm, but I'm starting to get back issues for this. The pencils are by Alan Kupperberg, and I will be 100% frank with you. I really didn't like his art because it's kind of jerky in places. Some stuff looks like it doesn't work. Like that last panel there, I really don't like that. It just looks off kilter. A lot of his stuff was off kilter. Oh, Gary Cohn and Dan Mishkin, who also created Amethyst, Princess of Gin World, which is something. That needs to be collected too. But having a fight between superheroes is always fun. Look at that ad for Dead Man, drawn by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, but I don't know who wrote it. But dang. But nonetheless, it's a fun story. That's really bizarre, but I like it. I can't figure it out. It's just. Kupperberg was so inconsistent. I like the right in the center here where it has the two thugs, like kind of almost doing a soft shoe routine. They're in the same pose. But anyway, Firestorm was fun. Oh man. I used to, when I rode the bus to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, it was it was like an hour-long drive because you got to stop everywhere. I would get a new DC comic, and Dick Giordano was the editor-in-chief for years and years in the middle of the 80s. And he wrote these articles, and some of it was just hyping new stuff, but a lot of it was just like him going through his day. And he would get up at like 5 in the morning, and with 1 hour, he would ink a page and then get ready to go to work. I mean, and his stuff doesn't look rushed at all, but I always thought that was really cool. And he shared just a lot of little stuff like that it really made a good connection. It was kind of like early on Stan's soapbox, but a little less hyperbole in the phrasing. Okay. Speak of the Devil. A lot of fun. I wish they collected soon. I think maybe, who knows. Iron Rain. Now this goes back to 1974. At the end it says January 75, but back then comics were 3 months ahead on their date. So beautiful Gil King cover. I think Giacoya inked it. I don't know, but people are like, "Oh, the nose." Well, let me tell you something. First time I ever saw Iron Man, I didn't know that I was not supposed to dislike the nose. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was all right. I mean, I didn't really give any thought, frankly. So there's Melter. Yeah. So this is my first Iron Man, and it happens to be the Convention of Fear by the regular team of Mike Friedrich, George Tuska penciler, Vinnie Coletta inker, and Tom Warzakowski starting out there. And story plot by Barry Alfonso, San Diego, California. And Mike Friedrich had an introduction to the Marvel Masterworks about this, saying he doesn't know what he contributed, but he must have felt compelled to give him some credit. And I like the pose. That's real kind of yawn. That's not that great. Tuska, he was strongest at fight scenes or superhero poses. That's kind of cool, yeah. So he's in San Diego, and there's like a montage, a nightclub, and San San Diego Zoo. What's this? Comics fan convention. And what's funny is back in 75, the San Diego Comic Convention was really small. I mean, my first time at San Diego Comic Con was 1995, and oh my God, I thought it was the Super Bowl of comics, and it was pretty much comics, some animation. The DC booth had the Batman video that for Batman Forever that U2 had done, Kiss Me, Kill Me, and then also Pinky and the Brain, all those other things that Warner Brothers owned. And it was still very much comics. And then I never went in the 2000s because that's when the comics went away and it became a promotional thing for movies mostly, which is a drag. But here is a group shot that is totally, I mean, I think it's posed by, God, it's so hard to, the paper, okay, quality here. This was kind of, I don't know how much Tuska had to do with this, but the guy in the front, Roy, on the left, Roy Thomas, and then Mike on the other side is Mike Friedrich, the writer of the book, and his face is drawn to look like, really drawn by Neil Adams. And what is that back there? This guy with brown hair is Frank Bruner, and that's his wife from at the time, and the guy with the striped shirt is Warzikowski, Tom Warzikowski. So here you go. Responding to some fan gripes, Mike Friedrich tells his own story where he goes, so you're an Iron Man fan, huh? Don't tell. I don't know. I like the guy, but the stories they tell are real dull. How can anyone run around with that ugly nose he's adopted? Sheesh. Nothing personal, you understand. So, and I had no idea what a comics convention was like until a few years later. I thought it was just a one. Well, I mean, back then there really wasn't many comic conventions, and the ones that were very small and very. The one I went to every 4 times a year was at Conley's Motor Inn, and it was in a basement, and I didn't care. I loved it. So he meets another Iron Man cosplaying. I see you've added that ridiculous nose to your mask. Show his new look, buddy. Besides, I happen to like it. Okay. No need to get touchy. At least we're both Iron Man fans. I may have to think about this facial protrusion. And there's the Melter with Whiplash and Man-Bull. And there's a Doc Ock. But that guy was cosplaying. Here comes the Melter. I'm going to do an episode on War of the Supervillains, which is probably the shittiest storyline ever in Iron Man. One of the shittiest. Definitely one of the shittiest in the Bronze Age. He promises some globe of power that will give the winner of Supervillains War some kind of unlimited power, and also insight and all that Eastern philosophy type stuff. But it's said really vague. So they're saying this is the real Iron Man. So let's get him. There's the Man-Bull. He's colored wrong though. He's usually purple. So it's just kind of. I mean, I liked it though. I mean, I loved drawing Iron Man because it was pretty simple. He's very. Stand back, all of you. The prize is mine. It's a comic book. And he says, automatic security devices. My stock, I can't let it burn. You'd risk your life over lost money? I'm like, if it's an old Thor, sure. The other Iron Man fan saves him. And, come on, you. See? Don't bite your nails, kids and adults. Black Llama shows up. It's just really dumb. Hail Iron Man! They put more effort into that logo, Hail Iron Man, than they did in the story. And the book that Melter wanted to buy, or he wanted to steal, was we're displaying my ultra rare comic Purple Pig #1, 1937. It's worth $5,000 now. Purple Pig, never heard of it. That's why it's so rare. So it's fun. It's dopey fun. So now let's charge forward a couple decades. Dark Horse Comics. They started in 1986. Randy Stradley and Mike Richardson, two guys in the midst of the black and white boom era, decided to do comics, and they're not doing the funny animal Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoffs, which were aplenty. And in fact, I collect those. I mean, they're usually dirt cheap, and they're just so bad, a lot of them, that I just have to have them. So, but anyway, they came out, I think they started off with Dark Horse Presents, which was an anthology, and that is, when you do an anthology, that's a huge strike against you. I mean, it's hard to sell an anthology because, what if you only like one character? You're not going to spend the whole amount of money, the whole cost of the book just because it's one character or this one artist. But Dark Horse really maintained quality, and they made it up to like 130 issues or so. Like, we're talking, over 10 years at least. And slowly but surely, Concrete was in the first one. He is a character created by Paul Chadwick, who writes and draws it. I suggest you look into the character. He's really, really... there's too much to talk about him. It's just a fantastic character. There's Bacchus, Zone, Race of Scorpions, Bob the Aliens, Celia and Delia, and The American. Really, really tight book. I mean, I was buying this, and it lasted all these years. I mean, Marvel, no. Dark Horse, they started also did some really good licensing. Like, they got the license to either Alien or Predator, and they did it up right. It's like when Marvel would do at the time, when they would do those kind of other, when they would do other properties that they would rent, that they would license. It was half-assed, and it was usually, just done Marvel style. But later on, when Dark Horse had the Star Wars franchises, the quality just skyrocketed. It was just amazing stuff. It's a big, thick book, black and white. I don't care. Now, starts off with The American, which was a book I was buying. Hang on, everybody. And what's funny about it is, like, I'm friends with Brandon Peterson when we were in CrossGen together, and this is one of his first issues, and I'm sure he'd like to kill me to post the stuff, but you got to start somewhere, and the storytelling is all there. But by leaps and bounds, his style evolved, like the next year, and he became a superstar artist, and he did a lot of work with X-Men and associated titles, and did some beautiful stuff across Gen. And wow, I see this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I should just quit. It's like I should just stop putting pen to paper. Oh, look at that. That's just stunning stuff. So, and then there's Bob the Alien, which I love because he's the total opposite. It's just like a doodle type artist. Some nights for staying home, right, Fly? Zzz. Tink, tink. Good thing tonight, not one of them nights. And he's just this goofy looking alien. And he goes out in the street, and he's about to get mugged. Give me the money. You speak English? He goes, yo, you big old cookie puss motherfucker. And what happened is the cops come, and he's running along with his accosters. Is that the word? Hey, what'd you see? He slows down. Wait, dog. Wait, guys. Is nice dog. Is nice. So he goes into a bar, and it's a game going on here. Whoa! For a second, he thinks it's about him. He goes, I am Bob from Venus. Whoa! My kind of people. Damn, look at you. Some of the hair of the dog that bit you? How do you know about that dog? Would you like a drink, sir? One of them, except give me normal size, not sample. One large whiskey for the comedian. Right on. Large whiskey. And, he gets the boot. It's just such an entertaining character. And he goes to see a John Waters movie where it has Divine in it, and really, really good stuff. So Now we get to Paul Chadwick's Concrete. This was a solo story just for this, and later on it would be collected. Inking assist Jed Hotchkiss, but I don't know who that is, but does a great job. Concrete was a senator's speechwriter who got kidnapped by aliens and transformed into this concrete being, and it's much more than that, but that's just encapsulation. This guy's going from room to room. He's drunk. See, concrete fell on his face, and he's like, "Oh, thank God he's breathing." So he goes to carry the guy in. Oh my God, she was naked. And then cars come, and he gets down, and his rump is basically looks like a rock. Oh, what's the thing? There was one where, oh yeah, there we go. He's going to sleep out in the woods, and a snake is attracted to the heat. And it freaks him out, but it's really not really kill. This is Eddie Campbell. Very, I don't know if you'd call him European style artist or his stuff is just so fantastic. And there's Zone, I've never seen before. I haven't seen him since actually, but I like it. There's a blind man who's fishing, and he can tell Zone's there, but Zone doesn't say anything. So he just small talks to Zone, and Race of Scorpion. Leonardo Duran, a fan of Duran Duran, I guess maybe. I shouldn't put him down though, because look at this incredible shit. This is just, I mean, it's amazing stuff, amazing. And then you got Dark Horse Presents. They had so many. They started Frank Miller's Sin City, and Next Men by John Byrne. So now we're heading back to Marvel Comics. That's the worst. It's bad enough you have a friggin', what do you call those things? Barcode. I love his cover. It's Al Milgrom, who did most of the Hulk covers at the time. He was editing them, but it's with color holds. The old days you used plates. You had just the black ink, but you would not ink on the same page. You would do an overlay of purple. Actually, there's yellow, magenta, blue, and the combinations of which would be done by the printer. Like he would be partially blue, partially yellow to get purple, and that would be the standard color. That would be these two together, different percentages at times. And I just love this cover. In fact, I really hadn't bought a Hulk in a while, so this cover really caught my eye. So kudos to Milgrom. So what I find out is that they're back in the Southwest. The Hulk, Betty, and Rick Jones. They come up. They go to the secret hiding place that the Hulk had early on in this series, where he would transform into the Hulk by standing before this gamma gun, and somehow it was still all. I mean, never mind the fact that how did he get all the equipment in there, and how did he? It's huge equipment, because he didn't do this shit as the Hulk. But that was a given. It was, it was early 60s, and then by now this is 1980. But it's Bill Manilow has a way of making something that's kind of dated and silly, still very entertaining and involved. Whoops! Whoa! I bashed my. Sorry about that, people. No. So he wants to change the Hulk back, or they want to change the Hulk back to Banner. And Rick Jones is so disturbed. I've decided that he is. It's like, yeah, I'll bet they do, Green Guy. What kind of line are we feeding this big stiff? This Gamma Phrasmastat will free Bruce Banner, all right, by bamfing the Hulk out of this picture. But that's what the Doc wants. It's weird. It's so stupid. Rick Jones has like a man crush on the Hulk, and Hulk is just a piece of Banner's psyche, and it's like the Hulk really doesn't exist in a sense. He does, but it's a very bad, slow-witted, destructive version, and somehow Rick misses being a sidekick. It doesn't matter, if he's a walking atom bomb or Game of Wine. Now this I love, love, love. Okay, we go to Dust Bowl in the middle of the sticks, and there's this guy. Just regular guys going through regular small-time things. Mayor Tile, who once tried to win a Senate race and failed. Sheriff Bates, who's always hoped to be a real musician. Billy Malt, who sees himself as Christopher Reed. And Silly Maple Waits, who likens herself to Brooke Shields. There's a guy in the back sweeping. There's Lame. John Horn, who'd not like to be lame. And old Tom Martin and Abner Perry, who'd like not to be old. So, he's pretty sad too. This guy's Sam Melville, and then here comes the rainbow. Now, if you've been paying attention a couple episodes back, that the rainbow is going to be involved in the story. This guy comes in, looking like a hippie, except that golden skin. He grants everybody's wishes. All of a sudden, the diner, the man and his wife who are at the diner becomes a fancy restaurant. They're made handsomer or prettier, however. And these guys everybody's older and healthier and beautiful. And he says, follow me, everyone, for your dreams. Your dreams. Well, he fools Betty into thinking it's Bruce Banner. Rainbows don't come on at night. It took him a while to figure that out. Come on, Betty's in trouble. She's gone. La, 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 la. Why doesn't it ever stop? Why does trouble follow me wherever I go? Well, love that panel. Love it, love it, love it. So the Hulk shows up. He's all confused. He sees Banner, and he hates Banner. That's just his thing. Glorian, who worked with Shaper of the Worlds. So the townspeople were, they look like the Hulk's old enemies. And here comes Shaper of the Worlds. Woo-wee. I think maybe he could be all right. I just don't think he's never been really written proper. Well, that's just maybe I don't like the character, but anyway. Love that. The shadowy eyes. That takes me back to issue 2 with Steve Ditko on the inks, really. So, blah, 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 blah. So, Glory and giveth, and the Shaper taketh away, huh? Rick's like a total nut. Because, what do these guys get off coming down here and using our planet as a playground? And, because Rick is angry. You bet I am angry at Glorian for giving these people a taste of glory. Angry at the Shaper for taking it away. Angry at anyone who would have been happier if they'd stayed the heck away. You're whipping the Hulk into frenzy. That's right, get angry. Bah, 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 bah. Yeah, we want him calm. So revert to Bruce Banner. Could the Doc have saved you from Glorian, Shaper? Betty, could the Doc have saved you from the Shaper? And, he's pissed him off. And I'm like, Rick is such a attention-starved asswipe. He's like, he hung around the Hulk way too long. Then he became part Captain Marvel for several years. That was a little different. Then he hung out with Rom, Space Knight, for a couple of years. And he eventually came back to the Hulk. And I'm like, later on, Peter David was writing Rick Jones. He made him a little more stable and made him kind of a, I don't know what you'd call him. Just, he was all together. He wasn't all, freaking out like this. But for so long, oh yeah, and Captain America, I forgot, shortly after Avengers 4. It's just like, he was just so pathetic. He's like, I'm a superhero groupie, damn it. I've got to keep up what I'm doing as a groupie. So anyway, that's all. And went a little long, but I hope you liked it. And I will talk to all you later. Bye, ya.